right here, we're going to learn about landfills. So this is really cool because I work at landfills. That's why I'm dressed the way that I am. I have my hard hat on to keep my head safe. I've got my safety vest on so all the drivers and the heavy equipment can see me. I've got my work gloves, keep my fingers clean, and down on my feet I have steel-toed boots. These are cool. There's a hunk of metal in the toes, so if I drop something, I don't smash my toes. And I can also kick really hard with steel-toed boots. So this is how I dress when I go to work because I work at a landfill. And the coolest thing about going to a landfill is not just watching and looking to see what we do with our garbage, our trash, our refuse, the stuff we don't want, but it's all the really cool people that I work with. Anybody here think about being an engineer? We have engineers that help design landfill systems. What about an environmental scientist? They help manage the landfills to keep our environment clean. What about a heavy equipment operator driving a bulldozer? Oh, that's a lot of fun. You ought to think about doing that. Or a compactor. It's a big piece of equipment with giant wheels that have teeth in the wheels. So it runs over our garbage and it tears up our garbage and smashes it down. And those are really fun to operate. What about a professional truck driver? We definitely need those to help manage our trash and get it down the road every day. So the neatest thing about my job is not just working with the garbage, but it's all these really smart people, even the accountants and the bookkeepers that help manage the money that we need to operate a landfill. All of these folks, we all come together to give you a safe place to put what you don't want. But that's not what we used to do. Back in the day, we used to just take our trash down to the dump. Anybody here heard of that? Just gonna run down to the dump? So the dump would be just what it sounds like, a hole in the ground like this, and we would just dump our garbage in there. And our garbage would just be hanging out in this hole in the ground, and it would be rained on. And all of that rainwater would filter through our garbage, and it would pick up contaminants from what we throw away, the bad stuff from the chemicals. And it'd filter on down to the bottom of that landfill, but it wouldn't stop there. It would keep on going all the way down into our groundwater. So all of those contaminants then would end up down in our groundwater. Did y'all see this? Yeah. Does that look clean? No. It has little floaties in it. Oh, yeah. It might have bad chemicals in it. It has all sorts of stuff that we might not want to be drinking, right? Y'all want to drink this? No. Take a shower with it? No. Cook with it? No. Let your dog drink it? No. No, we don't want that. We want to make sure that our resources, our natural resources, are clean, right? We want clean water to drink. We want clean air to breathe. So all the scientists have come up and the engineers have come up with a better way for us to manage our trash. And that is to put it in a modern engineered landfill. So what makes this different is instead of just a hole in the ground, we still start with a hole, but then we don't just walk away. What we do is we take compacted clay and we compact a layer of clay 2 feet thick in the bottom of that landfill. Have y'all been to the soils lab yet? No, you'll go to the soils lab today, and that's one of the things you'll see. If you have 2 feet of clay, it forms an impermeable barrier. That means water can't filter through, and that's what helps protect our groundwater from our landfills and our trash. We also put in a layer of high-density polyethylene. We'll line the bottom of the landfill with that. High-density polyethylene is a type of plastic. Super strong, super thick plastic liner that we put in the bottom of the landfill. And on top of that, we'll put in a piping system. And so when it rains on our landfill, the water does not filter through into the groundwater. It collects in the bottom of the landfill. And so now we have this. See that dirty garbage water? Yeah. We still don't want to drink that. So we can collect it in the bottom of the landfill. It's called leachate because it leaches through our trash. But we take that water out, and the leachate technicians and wastewater treatment plant operators that I work with can pump that water out and treat it and clean it up just like we do with our toilet water from our houses. So that's how we properly manage our trash now, by taking it to a modern landfill. Now, how many of you have seen a trash truck going down the road before? You know there's different types of trash trucks, right? We have front end loads, assisted side loads, rear loads, roll-offs. This one is a front end load because it will load our garbage, pick up the bin, and dump it in. So these are the types of bins that you have at your school. So they'll come along, they'll dump the bin in, put the bin down, and go on down to the next bin. And once it's gone down the road and it's picked up trash and it's full of garbage, do we head off down to the dump? Nope. Nope. We go to the landfill. So our truck comes on down the road, it weighs in at the landfill because we want to know how much garbage we throw away, right? We'll come back to that. So we throw away a lot of garbage. So it weighs in at the landfill. Once it's weighed in, it backs up into the landfill and it ejects a load of garbage, and then off it goes and picks up more trash. And those are our professional truck drivers that are helping us manage our garbage day in and day out. Now, every day at the landfill, we're taking in all this dirty, smelly garbage. And we don't just leave it there. We need to make sure that even within the landfill, we properly manage it. So every day, we're going to cover up that dirt, cover up that trash at the end of the day with dirt or tarps or some other type of cover material to help control vectors. Anybody know what a vector is? A disease-causing organism, something that could carry diseases like flies or cockroaches or wild animals. And we want to make sure that our trash, even in the landfill, does not pose a risk to us or to our environment. So we're going to properly manage it there, and the next day we'll come back in with another layer of garbage or another lift. And all these different layers of garbage are formed up to create a mountain, a small mountain. And all day long, all this wet garbage is getting rained on, or it's just wet because of what we throw away. And all that water continues to filter through, and we keep pumping it out and treating it properly. We don't just leave it there until we're all the way filled up. Now, how many of you have a trash can in your kitchen? Yep, and if you throw away something really smelly, what happens? It stinks. Now, if you leave it there for 3 or 4 days, it's going to stink up the whole house, won't it? That's pretty gross. So we want to make sure that we do get that hauled off. And one of the things that we do here at the landfill is we do provide a safe place for that smelly garbage that as it breaks down and decomposes, it's emitting all that water from the bottom, but it also emits methane gas. Now, methane gas could be bad for us, but it's also a source of energy. So one of the cool things that we can do at a landfill is collect that methane gas and use it for energy. So one landfill that I go to is in Spartanburg County, South Carolina. Y'all know that's just right up the road, right? So the landfill there, we collect the gas, we pipe it out of the landfill and down the road to BMW. And they make cars there. So our garbage helps to make cars here in South Carolina. So that's a pretty cool concept. So we filled up our landfill now, and once our landfill is completely filled up, y'all remember we line the bottom with high-density polyethylene, right, our liner? So we come back in with the top layer, and we will take this top layer of plastic and bottom layer of plastic and weld it together. Y'all know we can weld metal, but we can also weld plastic. So we weld these two layers together, the top and the bottom, and we encapsulate, we enclose our garbage so that it does not pose a risk to the environment. Then we'll put dirt over the top, and then we'll come in and we'll plant some grass, and we've got a finished landfill. It's all filled up now. So once our landfill's filled up, what do we do then? Do we just let the trash pile up in our kitchens? Nope. We still haul it down the road, right? But we have to haul it down the road to another landfill. So we're going to have to build another landfill when this one gets full. Do we need a landfill on every corner? No, they're big, they take up a lot of room, and they're very, very expensive to build and maintain. So we want to make sure that this lasts as long as possible. Now, y'all know about natural resources. We touched on that, about clean water and clean air. But we also need to make sure that we maintain this resource. It's not a natural resource, but it's still a resource. It's space, because we don't want the garbage to pile up in our kitchen or in our backyard. We need a safe space to take our garbage. So if we don't want to fill up this landfill, what do? We make less garbage, right? So how do we make less garbage? There's 3 R's. Reduce, reuse. Awesome job. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce means that we just make less garbage. So how many of you use a paper plate for dinner every night? What if you used a plastic plate or a ceramic plate that you wash instead? If you do that, you're making less garbage, because you can't recycle a paper plate that has food waste on it. It has to go in the trash. So instead of making trash by using something that you can wash, you're making less garbage. Right here in the front row, I see 2 water bottles. That's the second R. Reduce, reuse, because you're reusing that water bottle instead of getting a water bottle, drinking it, throwing away, getting another water bottle, drinking it, and throwing it away. So that's that second R. Reusable water bottles are a great example of reusing something instead of making waste. And then the third R is recycle. So what are some things that we can recycle? Yes?
Soda bottles.
Soda bottles.
Plastic water bottles.
Plastic water bottles.
Yeah.
Just certain things out of the trash. What do you think?
Can.
Aluminum cans.
Paper plate.
Paper plates that don't have food on it. Paper. Plastic 1s and 2s. Aluminum cans. What about boxes that come in the mail? What are they made out of? Cardboard. All of these are things that we can recycle here in our community. So we need to remember to recycle as much as we can, recycle often, but you also have to recycle right. So if you've been to the recycling station, you know that there's rules about what we can recycle. So make sure you follow those rules, and if you reduce, reuse, and recycle, we're going to throw less away and not fill up our landfill as quickly. The other thing we can do with our food waste, what did your worms do? Compost, right? And if we compost our food waste, that also keeps it out of the trash can and keeps it out of the landfill, which helps save space in our landfill. So there's things that you can do every day to make sure that we take care of this resource. So thank you all for your attention and for learning about landfills with me today. I really appreciate it. But before we run off and check out the animals, we're